My beloved child, do not move away. Do not let distractions steal this moment from you. I am speaking to you now because heaven allowed your heart to arrive here. You were drawn, not by chance, but because your spirit recognized the weight of this hour. I do not speak to everyone in this way. I speak to you because you are listening, because you still believe that heaven warns before the storm, and that a mother never remains silent when her children are in danger. I come to you with tenderness, but also with urgency. These words are not meant to entertain you, nor to satisfy curiosity. They are meant to prepare you. Something very serious is unfolding, and it is already in motion. Many feel it but refuse to acknowledge it. Many sense it but silence their hearts with noise and distraction. You did not. You stopped. You stayed. That is why I am with you now. My child, understand this clearly. What is happening in the world is not random. It is not coincidence. The earth itself is responding to the choices of humanity. Creation groans because harmony has been broken. You have seen signs multiplying, the ground trembling, the waters restless, fire awakening where there was silence. These are not isolated events. They are warnings layered with mercy, given before consequences become irreversible. Stay with me. Do not scroll. Every word matters. What I reveal now is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you. There are regions of the world already marked by spiritual rupture, places where pride replaced humility, where life was treated as disposable, where God was pushed out not quietly, but deliberately. When a nation erases God from its conscience, the protection that once covered it begins to withdraw, not as punishment, but as consequence. My child, I tell you this with sorrow, not anger. I have wept for these lands. I have interceded again and again, but there comes a moment when warnings must become clear, when silence would no longer be love. The signs you hear spoken of are not exaggerations, they are converging. Nature responds, societies fracture, hearts grow cold. This is how judgment begins, not with thunder, but with separation from God. You may ask why you are hearing this now. Because the hour is late, but mercy still remains. Because some are being called out, not to escape responsibility, but to become anchors of faith. You are being asked to see with open eyes and to choose differently while there is still time. Remember this, my beloved. A wise man builds his house on rock, and when the rain falls and the winds rise, the house stands. Build now, before the flood waters reach the door. Listen carefully. There are events that will shock many because they trusted stability more than truth. They believed peace could exist without God. They believed progress could replace repentance. They were wrong. When the foundations rot, collapse comes suddenly. I tell you this so you will not be among those caught unprepared, frozen by fear, asking how this could have happened. My child, do not allow fear to take root in your heart. Fear does not come from God. Discernment does. Vigilance does. Love does. When you see the signs increase, do not panic. Return to prayer. Strengthen your home. Reconcile where division exists. A house divided cannot stand, but a house that prays becomes a refuge even when the world shakes. I ask you now to remain until the end of this message. Do not leave. What comes next will give you clarity that many will lack. You will be shown how to protect what has been entrusted to you, not through superstition, but through faith lived sincerely. Where prayer dwells, darkness does not remain. Where humility lives, evil finds no foothold. My beloved child, heaven has not abandoned the world, but the world has wandered far. That is why I call you back to the essential. Return to God with your whole heart. Return before noise becomes collapse, before warning becomes consequence. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. Those who trust in the Lord will not be put to shame. Stay with me. Listen. Prepare your heart. This is only the beginning of what you must understand. Amen. My beloved child, you are still here, and because you remained, I will speak more clearly. Heaven watches not only who listens, but who perseveres. Many hear the beginning and turn away when the truth demands attention. You did not. This tells me your heart is being prepared, even if you still feel unsure. Let me guide you gently but firmly, because what unfolds next requires clarity, not confusion. The signs you see increasing are not isolated or accidental. They are converging, like streams flowing toward a single river. The earth itself is responding to what has been planted within it. When humanity forgets God, creation begins to reflect that disorder. You have heard of fires awakening where there was calm, of the ground trembling without warning, of waters behaving strangely. These are not meant to satisfy curiosity. They are meant to awaken conscience, my child. There are places on this earth where the rupture has grown deep, not overnight, but slowly, through repeated choices. Choices that celebrated what should have been protected. Choices that mocked what should have been revered. Choices that silenced the name of God and replaced it with pride. When this happens, spiritual protection weakens, and consequences follow as surely as night follows day. I tell you this because there are regions already entering a time of great trial. Not all will understand what they are seeing. Many will explain away the signs, trusting systems that cannot save them. But those who remain rooted in God will recognize what others deny. Wisdom does not come from intelligence alone. It comes from humility before truth. Do not misunderstand me, my beloved. God does not desire destruction. He desires conversion. But when warnings are ignored again and again, when mercy is mocked, the earth itself responds. As it was in the days when humanity forgot its creator, so it is again. The ground remembers, the waters remember, and when the weight becomes too heavy, release comes suddenly. Stay with me. Do not leave yet. What I share now is meant to protect you, not frighten you. You are not being called to panic or to spread fear. You are being called to anchor yourself and those entrusted to you. Strengthen your home with prayer, not rushed words, but sincere turning of the heart. Forgive where bitterness has taken root. Reconcile where pride has built walls. These acts are not small. They are shields, my child. I ask you to watch carefully how quickly hearts are growing cold, how truth is being blurred, how love is being reduced to convenience. This spiritual erosion is more dangerous than any visible disaster. When love disappears, chaos follows. When truth is rejected, confusion reigns. That is why prayer is no longer optional. It is essential. Remember this: those who remain faithful will not be abandoned. Even when structures fall and certainties dissolve, the one who trusts in God stands firm. The Lord is close to those who call upon him in truth. When everything else shakes, he remains unmovable. This promise has not expired. It is alive for this very hour. My beloved child, there will be moments ahead when you will be tempted to doubt what you are hearing now. The world will tell you to relax, to ignore the unease, to return to distraction. Resist that pull gently but firmly. Stay awake, stay prayerful, stay rooted. You do not need to know every detail of what is coming. You need to know where you stand. I am with you as you walk through this time. I do not abandon my children when the path grows narrow. I walk closer. I intercede more intensely. And I lead you always toward my Son, who is the way, the truth, and the life. No darkness can overcome the light that remains united to him. Remain attentive. What I will reveal next will deepen your understanding and show you how to remain protected even as trials increase. Do not walk alone. Stay connected, stay vigilant, stay faithful. Subscribe, my beloved child. Remain with me. Let your heart rest here a little longer, because what I am giving you now is not meant to be rushed. These words are like seeds placed carefully into the soil of your soul. They will take root quietly. And in the days ahead, when the winds rise and the ground feels uncertain, you will remember them and understand why I asked you to stay. You live in a time when many souls feel tired without knowing why. They sleep, yet wake unrested. They are surrounded by voices, yet feel unheard. This weariness is not only of the body, it is a weariness of the spirit. When the soul is starved of truth, it grows heavy. When prayer is neglected, the heart loses its rhythm. I see this weariness everywhere, and it grieves me, because so many do not know where to turn for relief. That is why I turn to you now, to remind you where living water is found. My child, the world will continue to promise relief through comfort, distraction, and escape. But comfort without truth numbs rather than heals. Distraction dulls pain for a moment, only to return it stronger. Escape avoids the wound, but never cures it. True healing comes from return. Return to God. Return to humility. Return to prayer spoken honestly, even when words feel weak. Even a sigh offered with trust reaches heaven. I want you to understand something deeply. Faith is not meant to remove you from reality. It is meant to anchor you within it. Those who abandon faith do not become freer. They become more vulnerable. Without God, the heart looks for substitutes, and substitutes always demand more than they give. They promise fulfillment, but leave emptiness behind. This is why you see so much striving and so little peace. My beloved child, do not measure your faith by how you feel. Feelings change like weather. Measure your faith by where you return when you are tired, afraid, or confused. If you return to prayer, even imperfectly, your faith is alive. If you return to love, even when wounded, your faith is strong. If you return to God after falling, your faith is growing. You may notice that the world now calls darkness light and light darkness. This inversion did not happen suddenly. It happened slowly, through small compromises that were accepted and repeated. When truth is softened to avoid discomfort, it eventually disappears. When conscience is ignored, it eventually grows quiet. But silence of conscience is not peace, it is warning. I tell you this so you will guard your conscience carefully. Do not silence it. Educate it. Listen to it. Bring it before God, who heals rather than condemns. My child, there will be moments ahead when you will feel pressure to conform, to remain silent when truth is challenged, to agree outwardly while disagreeing inwardly. These moments will test you more than open trials. It is easier to stand firm when opposition is obvious than when it is subtle. Ask for courage in these moments. Courage does not always look like speaking loudly. Sometimes it looks like quietly refusing to surrender what you know to be true. I ask you to cultivate patience. Many want immediate answers, immediate justice, immediate relief. But God often works through time, because time reveals hearts. Patience is not passivity. It is trust in movement you cannot yet see. Seeds planted today grow roots before they break the surface. If you uproot them too soon, you destroy what was forming unseen. You may wonder why prayer sometimes feels unanswered. My child, no sincere prayer is ignored. Some prayers are answered immediately. Some are answered slowly. Some are answered differently than expected. And some are answered by transforming the one who prays rather than the situation prayed about. This transformation is often the greatest gift, though it is rarely recognized as such in the moment. I ask you also to practice gratitude even when circumstances feel heavy. Gratitude does not deny pain. It places pain within a larger horizon. A grateful heart remembers that God is still present, even when solutions are not yet visible. Gratitude protects the soul from bitterness, which quietly corrodes love and drains strength. My beloved child, do not isolate yourself spiritually. Even if you walk much of this path quietly, remain connected to the body of believers. Shared prayer multiplies grace. Shared faith strengthens resolve. The enemy seeks to isolate because isolation weakens discernment. When you feel tempted to withdraw completely, pause and ask why. Often, this is precisely when connection is most needed. You will see many searching for meaning in extremes, swinging between despair and illusion. Some will cling to fear, others to denial. Both are responses to uncertainty. You are called to a different way, the way of trust. Trust does not mean naivety. It means confidence that God remains sovereign, even when events appear chaotic. History has never escaped his gaze. Neither has your life. I want you to understand the value of small acts done with love. The world celebrates impact that is visible and immediate. Heaven celebrates fidelity that is hidden and consistent. A prayer whispered while washing dishes, a kind response when irritation would be easier, a refusal to speak ill when gossip invites you. These acts shape your soul more than dramatic gestures ever could. My child, there will be days when faith feels like effort rather than joy. Do not be discouraged. Love matures through effort. Even human love deepens when it remains faithful through difficulty. How much more does divine love grow when chosen freely, without emotional reward? These are the days when your faith becomes unshakable, though you may not realize it yet. I also ask you to rest. True rest is not idleness, it is trust. Resting in God means allowing Him to be God, rather than trying to control outcomes through anxiety. Anxiety feels productive, but it produces nothing but exhaustion. Place your concerns before God daily. Name them, then release them. Return to this practice again and again. Freedom grows through repetition. My beloved child, you may feel unqualified, inadequate, or unprepared for the times you live in. This feeling is more common among the faithful than among the proud. God does not choose the self-sufficient. He chooses the willing. Your awareness of weakness is not a flaw. It is an opening for grace. Grace fills what humility makes room for. There will be moments when you will look back on this time and realize that what felt like warning was also invitation. Invitation to deeper prayer, invitation to greater clarity, invitation to live with intention rather than drift. Do not waste this invitation. Respond to it gently but decisively. I remain with you, not as a distant observer, but as a mother who walks beside you. I see your struggles. I see your effort. I see your desire to do what is right even when it costs you comfort. These things matter more than you know. Heaven rejoices quietly over such faithfulness. When you stumble, do not hide. Return. When you doubt, do not despair. Ask. When you grow tired, do not quit. Rest and continue. The path of faith is not a straight line. It is a returning again and again to the one who never leaves. My beloved child, I entrust you now to the mercy of God, who is patient, faithful, and just. Remain attentive but peaceful. Remain faithful but gentle. Remain watchful but hopeful. Under my maternal care and within the love of my Son, you will find what you need for each day, even before you know to ask for it. Walk forward without fear. You are not alone. You have never been alone, and you will not be alone in what lies ahead.